Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host Ahmed Nawaz with the latest roundup of sports today. We start off with Pakistan's miracle victory against the West Indies, where it was the spinners galore. The spin trap finally worked for us. We are learning new terminologies of cricket, and our favorite one this time is spin trap. So the spin trap really worked for Pakistan. Akib Ball did the trick, as Rizwan might say. But I think the credit to this victory should go to Saud Shakil and Mohammad Rizwan. The way they batted for Pakistan in the first innings after Pakistan was, wickets down, clearly saved us the match, because otherwise I believe West Indies had the better of us. If I just remove that partnership, I think West Indies had an edge over us, especially Warrican, the way he bowled. Reminded me a bit of Rangana Herat, our romance with spin bowling as well. But then again, I think pitches like these, it's okay, you've secured a victory, would test Pakistani batters, technically test Pakistani batters. The way Saud Shakil has played, utilizing the sweep shot, spending time on the wicket, this is the kind of batting you need on surfaces like these. So I don't mind a victory like this, but at the same time, I do believe that our batters need to be more equipped to play spin. We've seen the era of Mohammad Yusuf, Inzamam ul Haq, Yunus Khan, Misbah ul Haq, Azhar Ali to an extent as well. But I think it's very critical that we analyze that our test batters need to be more equipped to play spin bowling. It's very important. So we discuss that in detail as well, and the longevity of this kind of strategy. What happens to the fast bowlers then? So we'll talk about that in detail as well. So discussing things in detail, joining us first of all in studios is our sports expert, of course an international cricket commentator, broadcaster, presenter, a man of many talents and one of the most positive people you come across, always spreading smiles, Mr. K. Asif Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum, how are you, sir?
Walaikum assalam. Thank you very much, Ahmed. I'm very well, thank you.
Thank you for joining us. We've also been joined by fellow anchor and expert. You see him everywhere, be it the draft, be it international football, be it in international cricket. You'll always see a very familiar face in the likes of Sayyid Mohammad Awais. Assalamu alaikum, Awais. How are you?
Walaikum, how are you?
I'm very well, Awais. Thank you very much for joining us as well. Of course, a lot to discuss, Asif, but what do you make of this victory for Pakistan?
First of all, see, this test belongs to spinners, and the surface and the track was definitely very helpful for the spinners, not only for the Pakistan, but the West Indies spinners, especially Warrican. He was a special worry for the Pakistani batters, and as your intro you were talking about that the Pakistani batters, they were struggling against the spinners. Yes, if you talk about that, even Babar Azam, the top-notch batter, he was out of the form, and the way he played in the first innings, he was struggling against the fast bowlers, and in the second innings, that was a very good delivery once again, and rightly pointed out by you that it reminds us that the Herat was bowling against Pakistan. Kamran Ghulam, all of the batters, they were struggling. Even in the first innings, Shan Masood, he was not okay. He was not up to the mark against the spinners. But the good thing was that I'm happy that he gained his form back, because everybody was criticizing over his captaincy, over his batting form. And that was, though we remain unlucky that he got run out. That was a poor call from both of the batters on the other strike. Kamran Ghulam was there, but I think that making 50 on this surface definitely will increase his confidence, will boost his confidence. Once again, remarkable performance from the Pakistani spinners, especially Sajid Khan, and I have heard his press conference, and he said in his presser that I'm ready to play white ball as well. I don't know why people, they don't talk about this, that I'm okay. I could bowl in ODI, I could bowl in T20.
Another perspective which people don't know about him, that he started his career as a batter. I think that's very interesting when you look at his career as well.
Well, Ahmed, that's the problem, that when you're not getting chance as an off spinner, and people are not recognizing your efforts, not recognizing your performances, so definitely you will try to do something extraordinary in other department as well, and it's batting. And if you see his first class records, he scored a century as well. But the good thing is that he's performing so well for Pakistan. Not only Sajid Khan, but Noman and Abrar, all of them, the Trika, they worked really nicely. And the West Indies batters, they were struggling. Even, I'm so amazed to see that. And that why they were not tackling with the straight bat. Not only the batters from the West Indies, but the problem with the Pakistani batters, they didn't play with even with the straight bat. The other day, Kashif Majid was talking about, and you made a video as well, that it was so simple. Just try to play with the soft hand. Do you remember what happened in the second innings with Saud Shakil? He simply went for a drive with the full bat, and that was his mistake. The good fielding from the Pakistani fielders. Sadi took a brilliant catch, and Salman Ali Agha, he was absolutely brilliant in the slips. They've taken very good catches. So congratulations, Pakistan, and special congratulations to Arslan Shirazi Saab that the skipper, he has scored a 50 after a long time.
Well, certainly, I'm sure he'll have a lot to say, and he's also mentioned that why are you forgetting his 100, his gritty 100.
Oh yes, and Pakistan lost the match. Please,
well,
that was the result.
Same as Sachin Tendulkar, so you know. But Saeed Mohammad West, what do you make of this victory for Pakistan, and how do you see this in the near future?
Ahmed bhai, it's a great victory for Pakistan because you wanted that. Because unfortunately, if you talk about both the teams, Pakistan and West Indies, they're at the bottom of the cycle, which is about to end the Test Championship, and obviously Pakistan will want to win the 2 matches and just finish it on a good total over here. Shan Masood, a little bit, I would say, a little bit relief for him, scoring 50 odd runs. But remember one thing, Shan Masood captaincy is under scrutiny, I would say, because of his individual performance as a captain. There are many loopholes what you see in between. Specifically, when you talk about the spin bowling department, they have done a fabulous job. What role was given to the spin bowling department. But one thing again, as we come to reality, it's just a short-term planning, I would say. We need, if you're thinking about a long-term planning, Pakistan needs to understand one thing, that it's not going to be always your spin bowling who will dominate for you. It's somewhere the paces need to be in the game, because that's the beauty of the game. Unfortunately, it is a reality that we don't have a tearaway quick in the Pakistani pace line when you talk for the Test cricket. But it's unfortunate to say that there were no fast bowlers being used in this Test match. It is important. I mean, you need to use a fast bowler, because fast bowler, again, I would say, that's the beauty of the game, which actually wins the Test matches for you. So that's a concerning sign for me. But rest Pakistani bowlers, Sajid Khan, I remember again, I would say, he always says that whenever I perform, I'm dropped off the Pakistan team. But his performance was exceptional. Noman was exceptional. Ibrar was good with the spin bowling. But the Pakistani batsman, specifically Saud Shakil, was brilliant with Rizwan performance. Because unfortunately, if that partnership was not good, Pakistan would have been under trouble. But the Pakistani batting, again, I would say, specifically Shan Masood, Babar Azam, they really need to come to the party, because that's the main candidate for me, because they haven't been scoring runs. Babar Azam looked good in South Africa, but this was a square turner, so it would obviously judge, it would test the Pakistani batsmen too. But hats off to the West Indian, the left armour, he was brilliant with the Pakistani batsmen, because the bat and pad gap against left hand, you just see that it's open for Pakistan. And specifically when you talk about the sweep shots, that's totally reduced in Pakistan culture. I mean, because that shows your batsmen are out of confidence.
Well, certainly. I think the confidence at this moment is very, very necessary. But, you know, it's all about the consistency model as well. And like I said, that sometimes you just need to give your team a winning mentality, and that's how you move forward as well. So Asif, you know, in a hindsight, it was much needed for the team as well. We saw a couple of banter that's been floating on social media of, you know, the talk between Salman Ali Agha, Babar Azam and Rizwan. So, you know, it's always good to see a team enjoying, you know, amongst themselves, the camaraderie. Something that has been missing from the Pakistan Cricket Board for a while. How would you like to comment on that as well?
Well, that's really important. You know that this is what I have talked in several programs as well, that I don't see that camaraderie from last 1-2 years, especially after the removal of Babar Azam, when Shan Masood came as a skipper. And I think something was missing, and we have heard something was going on, and the news coming from the different newspapers or the media channels, that what's happening in the Pakistani dugout. So I think that, I mean, it's a very good thing, and especially, you know, that when your team is winning and you're enjoying, it shows that your confidence is getting high. And Shan Masood, skipper, of course, that he was under pressure. Everybody was talking about his performances. So when you are winning, you enjoy that moment, and the banter is going on, especially when you talk about the Noman's Punjabi and Noman's Saraiki. I have heard that, and I really enjoyed, you know. And Salman Ali Agha always standing in the slip position, talking to the wicketkeeper, and Rizwan sometimes, you know, he speaks Pashto. So these are really good things. But the problem is that what will happen when we will travel to South Africa once again? What will happen when we will travel to Bangladesh? The Awais, he was raising this point. Okay, we are winning just because of these dry surfaces that helping a lot to our spinners. But what will happen to our fast bowlers? That's the question. The planning
we saw an example, Asif, if you remember, when Pakistan moved to the UAE, and we saw a lot of opening bowling by Mohammad Hafiz, and Pakistan started investing in the new ball spin bowlers, it came a point where we started lacking fast bowlers for any form of international cricket.
Ahmed, let me ask you this question. After the late Abdul Qadir, do we have a proper leg spinner in our cricket? No, we don't have. Let's talk about Abdul Qadir Saab and then Mushtaq Ahmed. Saklan Mushtaq, if you see his record in Test cricket, isn't impressive. I think that he only played 50 or 60 Test games, and his average is 30. After that, we have Saeed Ajmal, Abdur Rahman, a vintage spinner, Zulfikar Babar, and now we have two more spinners. So we are not working properly towards that area. We want proper spinners. We want proper fast bowlers. Fast bowlers in T20 cricket, in ODI, yes, we have pace battery there. But when we talk about the Test cricket, of course, we are lacking. And I think that nobody is talking about that.
Well, certainly. And I think it's very important that going forward, Pakistan develops such a consistency model as well. And I think, Avais, your domestic cricketers would be tested again as well if you're able to replicate some of the conditions. And that's why I stress that you need to add more venues to cricket in Pakistan. Go to Faisalabad, go to Gujranwala, go to Bahawalpur, go to Hyderabad, go to Quetta, go to Peshawar. You know, each and every surface needs to be different.
So, one thing is good that at least the Pakistan Cricket Board chairman, I mean, he's taking this kind of steps very seriously, because Faisalabad is getting renovated. So you would see international cricket back to Faisalabad, but rightly pointed, because you need some changes even in the venues for the batsmen so they can be tested on different soil surface over here. But the biggest problem for me again is that when you talk about a domestic structure, you have in this season, you have got your medium paces picking up wickets for you because there were green top wickets. But when you talk about international level, that's a totally different kind of scenario over there. Spinners are dominating a lot. So that won't be a longer process. It's a short-term process. When you talk about long process, like even Asif was mentioning on, because you're going to be playing 3 Test matches in England. I know that conditions will be different. There will be green top wickets. The biggest issue for me is I know it supports it's your culture when you're playing in Pakistan. Obviously, you need to give benefit to your home conditions. But your batsmen are struggling. That's the biggest issue for me. They are not scoring runs over here. How can you boost them for the other international series coming up when you play against Test cricket? So that's the point I'm saying on. There should be balance between the bat and ball. But unfortunately, as a fast bowler, the culture is just dipping up. There are no fast bowlers coming for Pakistan because the biggest issue for me, the wickets are. Secondly, you're going to be playing there's a gap of 9 months for Test cricket. It's a long period of time. So the domestic structure guy who's performing really well in 4-day cricket, slowly steady, he diverts to 1 day or he diverts to T20 because he knows that there are a lot of T20 going on. So I would be in the limelight for Pakistan team. That's what Pakistan cricket really needs to think about. It has been a lot of time. We never played five Test match series with any country. After a long period of time, I would say we are going to be playing some 3 Test match series against England. So that needs to continue. The FTP cycle, the guys who are making that with ICC, they really.
And Wes, it's a very busy calendar. I mean, there's so much cricket right now coming up, and I once again would like to stress that the amount of domestic cricket you're playing also needs to be managed smartly as well.
That's the biggest challenge, because Ahmed bhai, at one point it's good that you're inserting more cricket for everyone, but when you talk about the workload management, it's going to be a challenge for the bowlers, literally for any player, I would say, because a lot of cricket is being happening here. I mean, it's just around the corner for 12 months. Even you have to keep your fitness for the international levels. You have to keep your fitness for the league cricket going on around the world, even for the PSL. That's really going to be a challenge for the players, how they dominate for this kind of busy schedule in the 2025 cycle.
Well, that being said, the next cycle of Test cricket is also something that we're still unsure about. Because after this Test series, there's a couple of months of gap and nobody knows what the future of Test cricket or for the Test skipper is in Pakistan. Anything can happen at any given moment because the entire focus is going to shift to white ball cricket. But then again, I think the thought of still having a separate Test team or not, or involving players in that, is all about how much incentive you're able to give them. For that, you need to first give respect to your domestic cricket. And I think the first priority, Asif, you would agree, is that give financial respect to your domestic players as well.
Well, now if you want me to speak truth, that what's happening, are people getting their salaries in domestic cricket? Are they getting any sort of increment? I think that, yeah, it's a question mark, especially when we talk about the women cricket, which is in trouble definitely. And Pakistan women under 19 playing World Cup, we lost against England. but nobody is talking about their miseries, what's happening here at domestic circuit. Because I came to know that somebody told me that the Pakistani women, they're not getting their salaries on the time, even they're not getting their daily wages. So that's a question mark. So yes, I think Pakistan, but I think give some time to the chairman Pakistan Cricket Board, because he has taken some good steps.
I think that's a good question for Avais as well. He's involved in a lot of policy making, and he's often in offices where these things do matter, and he's discussing them as well. He's sitting with the right people, sitting with the cricketers, the management as well. So Avais, there needs to be some talk about financial stability for domestic players and for women cricketers as well at the same time.
See, I mean, obviously it's the Pakistan Cricket Board structure, but what I feel is that Ahmed bhai, slow and steady, if you talk about even the domestic structure of different countries, I mean, slow and steady, they are moving to public-private partnership. I mean, they have got some sponsorships, public-private partnership being involved in the domestic structure. The biggest question right now for me, if you talk about the men's cricket, obviously you have got a lot of cycle to go on. I mean, you can earn from easily, I would say, from any of the leagues even in the country, I would say. But the real question for me, it's about the women's cricket. I mean, if you just watch out even under 19 structure, the match which was played against England today, your girls were miserable. I mean, because it's not their fault. I mean, it is because a 23-25 days camp, what would help them? I mean, secondly, no incentive is being paid even for the for your national team, women's team. I mean, from 6 months, if I'm not wrong, they're not being paid even dailies. I mean, so that's the thing I'm saying on. The public-private partnerships really needs to look into this even. The Pakistani Cricket Board stakeholders, the chairman has been very strong for women's cricket too, but the stakeholders sitting in the cricket board, I mean, they really need to think about what direction we need to take our domestic structure, even the women's team, because this is unfortunate. Even if you talk about the men's domestic structure right now, I can quote you an example of many players. For example, any team, I would say, the youngster coming up from the under 19 structure playing for a domestic cricket, he's just got one bat sponsorship from a company because they're marketizing themselves, and they said this is the bat, you need to perform with this. When you're playing at the highest level, at least you need 2 to 3 or 4 bats with you. I mean, that's unfortunate. There are no finances involved, there are no sponsorship for shoes, they have to buy from their pocket, and unfortunately your domestic structure is not that strong that it can accommodate his financial needs. I mean, that's why I say they need to go for public-private partnerships, and I believe that if Pakistan Cricket Board does that, I'm sure the Pakistani businesses sitting in Pakistan would definitely love to invest in cricket, because cricket, it's a reality that it's one of the major sports in Pakistan. It's streamlined everywhere. It's just that you need to speak to the right person for the right job.
Well, right person for the right job, certainly, but at the same time, I also believe that it's not difficult for these matters to be addressed once you have so much consistency in the Pakistan Cricket Board, something we're seeing right now and something we've not seen before this time as well. But thank you very much, K. Asif Ahmed. Thank you very much, Avais, for joining us. That, of course, wraps up Sports Sector. From me and the entire team, it's goodbye for now.